Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Doreen here on Monday morning, July the 22nd. A far different weather pattern for this week in places like the Mid-Atlantic region as compared to some recent weeks. We have warm, humid, and wet conditions, occasional showers and thunderstorms over each of the next 3 or 4 days or so. And the nature of these showers and thunderstorms are that they are very slow moving, and that certainly can result in some very heavy rainfall amounts over given locations. Last night, for example, there was a thunderstorm cell that was sitting over pretty much the center of Chester County in southeastern PA, and it just sat over the same area for a few hours, producing some very heavy rainfall amounts. And that same pattern will remain intact over the next few days. It looks like we'll have the threat of showers and thunderstorms right through the day on Thursday in the Mid-Atlantic region. As far as temperatures are concerned, no extreme heat for this week. Again, far different weather pattern than what we've experienced over the past few weeks. High temperatures, for example, over the next few days, likely to be only in the mid to upper 80s in places like DC, Philadelphia, New York City. There's some monsoonal rainfall out in the southwestern states, the Four Corners region, for example, for much of this week, and we'll talk about that also over the next few minutes. Let's start off with a look at the latest sea surface temperature anomaly map and focus in on the tropical activity. Right now, there is no tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin. Again, we talked about this last week. That's certainly unusual when you're in the latter part of the month of July. We're certainly not into the heart of the tropical season. However, I'm getting more and more confident that I was only forecasting above normal and not a historic type of tropical season. Certainly more and more confident as we go through the month of July here with very little, if any, activity, that in fact we won't have kind of a historic season that some were forecasting out there. I'm getting a little bit nervous about an above normal forecast, to be honest with you. Here is La Nina, and it is not all that impressive right now. This is the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. There is La Nina, cooler than normal temperatures in kind of a wavy looking pattern. This is the west coast of South America, and all this right across the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean, but certainly only a weak La Nina right now. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks, but the stronger the La Nina, the more possibility of Atlantic Basin tropical activity. So a weak La Nina here is certainly something different than what some of the climate models were predicting, let's say 4, 5, 6 months ago. Now, in addition to a rather weak-looking La Nina, we have this area off the west coast of Africa with cooler than normal conditions here. That is, of course, an inhibiting factor to the formation of tropical activity in the eastern part of the Atlantic Ocean. The bottom line here is it looks like little, if any, tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin over the next couple of weeks. It'll have to be the first or second week of the month of August, where, in my opinion, we'll have to look for some potential tropical activity. We'll continue to monitor this, of course, over the next several weeks. Now, as I said up front, quite a different weather pattern this week across the Mid-Atlantic region, for example, the Northeast U.S., the Ohio Valley, where we have occasional showers and thunderstorms and no extreme heat in sight. Again, high temperatures this week, mainly in the mid to upper 80s, places like DC, Philadelphia, New York City. Of course, they were in the mid to upper 90s, even higher than that during some of the last couple of weeks. There are showers and thunderstorms right now across much of the Ohio Valley, the southern Mid-Atlantic region, basically moving to the northeast, but at a slow rate. And when showers and thunderstorms move at a slow rate, that raises the possibility of some heavy rainfall amounts in a given location. And that will be kind of the pattern over each of the next few days. The threat of showers and thunderstorms, primarily in the afternoon hours, but they really can happen at just about any time. And again, a slow-moving storm system can dump a lot of rainfall over a given location, and we'll have to watch out for the possibility of flash flooding advisories going up in some of these areas in the Mid-Atlantic region over the next few days. Well, let's take a look at the overall precipitation totals here as depicted by last night's zero-Z run of the GFS. This is for the next 10 days. And a couple main areas I want to point out. First of all, much of the eastern half of the nation, quite a bit of rainfall here over the next 10 days or so. Anything purple here, right here on this legend, is 2 inches or more. Again, we're looking at the next 10 days or so from the Great Lakes to the Mid-Atlantic region, at least the interior Northeast, and throughout the Carolinas and down to the South Central states and all the way back to Texas. A lot of rainfall over the next 5 or 10 days or so over the eastern half of Texas. Now, this kind of a pattern here, I kind of mentioned this last week's video, and you see a lot of moisture here in the western part of Mexico. It's kind of what we call part of the monsoonal pattern here that develops. Yes, it does develop here in the U.S., in the southwestern states, later in the, I would say, the second half of the summer season, latter part of July, August, even to September. You can get some monsoonal rainfalls, especially right here in those four corner states of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. Even out to Nevada, you can get some kind of monsoonal rain. And basically, monsoon refers to a seasonal wind. And in this case, we get a lot of moist air that can flow into the southwestern states from the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean this time of the year. Similar other parts of the world, India, for example, Bangladesh, they get some very heavy rainfall during their monsoonal season when that seasonal wind brings in tons of moisture from the Indian Ocean into that part of Asia. So again, we're starting to see this pattern here with some decent rainfall. And generally is focused on the afternoon and evening hours, which is typical for the summer season. But a lot of rainfall over much of the eastern half of the nation, and kind of increasing amounts of rainfall seen here over the southwestern states again as a result of this summertime monsoonal season. Well, let's walk through the surface forecast maps of across the continental U.S. here using the zero-Z GFS. And again, remember, this particular area right here is kind of a conveyor belt of very warm and humid air flowing out of the Gulf of Mexico, even some coming out from the Pacific Ocean, and some of that also flowing into the southwestern states. So we'll see a lot of rainfall this part of the nation over the next few days, and indeed over the next 10 days or so. Now let's move forward. Again, there's kind of an increased chance in the afternoon and evening hours pretty much anywhere across continental U.S. for those showers and thunderstorms. They can form during the overnight and morning hours for sure. We had that last night in the Mid-Atlantic region, for example. We just saw the radar this morning with numerous showers and thunderstorms across the Ohio Valley and southern Mid-Atlantic. Chances are they'll become more widespread during the afternoon and evening hours when you throw in a little bit of fuel on the fire with the daytime heating. Here is the midday forecast map, a lot of green, and it kind of widens in coverage here and kind of intensifies as well. You see some of these yellows and oranges. That represents some potential heavy rainfall. Eastern Texas all the way up across into the Carolinas. Again, there can be heavy rainfall. Any one of these showers and thunderstorms in the Mid-Atlantic, in the Ohio Valley, again, especially in the afternoon and evening hours, given the slow-moving nature of these showers and storms, kind of dies down by tomorrow morning and starts picking up again during tomorrow afternoon. Again, some yellows showing up here, potential for some heavy rainfall. Same kind of pattern into the day on Wednesday, where it tends to die down and then builds back up again during the midday and afternoon hours. Very widespread here. Look to it late in the day on Wednesday for those showers and thunderstorms across the eastern half of the nation. And here we go at the monsoonal air mass here out across the Four Corners region, even all the way into Nevada. There'll be scattered showers and thunderstorms, but that is not all that atypical for this time of the year. This is that summer monsoonal flow pattern here. Then we go out into the day on Thursday. It looks like similar pattern lasts into Thursday across the Mid-Atlantic and much of the eastern states, in that we will have the threat of showers and thunderstorms, but that tends to fade away with this high pressure system here over the Great Lakes. Looks like it may clear things out, at least temporarily, let's say on the day Friday and Saturday in much of the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S. to Midwest, Great Lakes region. Meanwhile, you still have some moisture out across the interior west and the southwestern states as we begin the day here on Friday. We'll go out a little bit farther in time, and here we go, late Friday afternoon. Probably dry across much of the Mid-Atlantic region, certainly the northern Mid-Atlantic region during the day on Friday. That's after wet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And here we go, continuation of some moisture resulting in some afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms across the Rocky Mountain states later in the day on Friday. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.